Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Luminalia stream. All right, so today's stream is only going to be about 45 minutes. We are going to keep this one really short. I have things to do today. Specifically, I have a D&D game to go to, so I will definitely be very fast today. So, uh, welcome anybody who jumps aboard, but we are going to get to business today. So it's Luminalia Day 6, I believe. Luminalia Day 6. What's up, Liam? It is Luminalia Day 6, and it is time for us to go and see what the treat is for today. And, of course, if you are watching and you have questions, please make sure you leave comments and make sure you ask those questions and put question in the front of them so that we can pull those out of the stream. Also, make sure you're leaving comments so that you can qualify for our giveaways. All right, so let's hop into the Luminalia celebration. Let me set that up while we're waiting for people to trickle in. If you are waiting for more ship reviews, I finished the Terrapin Medic review, but it's requiring a little bit more editing, so it won't come out until tomorrow morning. But the Terrapin Medic review is complete. I just have to edit it a little bit more before I can release it, and I won't have time to edit it tonight. All right, let's see. Let's go here. All right, Luminalia. All right, so we're just going to go straight to it. I don't think there's going to be anything. We'll do our checks, but this is what we came here for. We'll do our checks just to make sure they didn't surprise us with anything. I seriously doubt they did, but we'll just check to make sure. Maybe they restored stock or something like that. Doesn't look like they did. So, yeah. All right, so day 1, we got the Spectrum badge. Day 2, we got the Karna Alpine Sunset Rifle. Day 3, we got the 2 Archimedes and Merlin Ice Break paints and Deck the Hull paints. Then we got the LH86 Permafrost pistol on day 4. Day 5, we got the 2 Deck the Hull and Ice Break paints for the 400i. And day 6, today, we get the Coda Ultraviolet pistol. I actually really like that one. The purple and pink, if I'm not mistaken. I'm a little colorblind, so sometimes I can't tell, but that looks like purple and pink, which is actually a really cool color. You do not want to get shot in the face with that. Yeah, so only 5 more days left. Like I said, we'll keep doing these during the stream. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Luminalia Day 6. Whatever questions you got, I am ready to answer. What's up, everybody? What's up, Ristel? Matthew Ward, what's up? Essential. When do I think the Misfortune will make a debut? The Misfortune, I don't think is coming until early next year. So I would assume it would be coming the first quarter of 2025. Unless they do a surprise debut for 4.0, but I doubt it because I feel like we would have had more leaks. So my guess is first quarter of 2025. This is the first time I've ever participated in a Star Citizen giveaway, but a Perseus is too good of a ship to pass up. I agree. Just make sure you, if you were not subscribed before, what's up, Disarray? If you were not subscribed before December, just make sure you share the shared videos or share the channel on 2 separate social media websites, and make sure you like or dislike and leave a comment on every video from this month, just because I want everybody to qualify for that. So I'm gonna keep saying it over and over because I don't want people to be like, oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. So one of the things, I'm only going to be streaming for 45 minutes today, which is a little bit shorter than I normally do. I normally do an hour, but I have a D&D game to get to. So I just want to make sure. I just wanted to make sure I streamed today and got our Luminalia day 6 thing out for today. Just because I know for a fact that I won't be able to get that video out. Members are included in all giveaways for everything except for the lives. So when it comes to the lives, it's more randomized on the lives. So members, that increased chance of giveaways for the lives is a little different because it's still going to be you will have had to leave a comment in order to qualify for it, but that's only for the lives. For everything else, you're absolutely entered for it. So even if you joined in December, but you are a member in December, you still qualify without having to do all the other things, right? So that's a perk for being a member. My save Luminalia, I can't really save it because I can't give free stuff out except for these ships. So 4 ships, well, I'm giving out 3 ships and I'm giving out 1 skin. So that's the best I can do. That's how I save Luminalia Blue 4 by giving out as much as humanly possible. And shout out to Aerostar Capital. That's spelled Aero. Aerostar Capital allows me to give away the Perseus, which then allows me to give away the C8R on top of the Perseus, and allows me to give away something to my older backers, which is going to be that Starlancer, or no, it wasn't Starlancer. It was the Paladin that I'm giving away to the older backers. So older backers, if you've been following, I think it's at this point it's like a little bit over 100 days. If you've been following the channel for over 100 days, you are qualified to win that one. And the way that I'll check that is I'll go to my subscriber list and look at the old ones and stuff, and I'll randomize it and make sure that I pick out somebody who's been following for a very long time. And out of those people, they are the only people qualified for that. They will win, one of them will win a Paladin. But when people donate ships and when people donate, money and funds and stuff to the channel, I just want you to know this is kind of how it works. So Aerostar Capital taking up the mantle for the Perseus allows me to then give away an extra ship. And that's kind of the same way it works with referrals and everything like that. So as always, I will do, hold on one second. Let me get back to my page here. So, as always, I will check my referrals because I always check them just to make sure. And it looks like somebody did do our referral, so I want to give them a shout out to Linuzillion. I don't know who that is, but Linuzillion was able to do the referral thing for this month. So shout out to Linuzillion for doing the referral thing this month, because again, every time that happens, that allows me to give away another ship, and it makes it much easier on the channel. So thank you for that. That means I'll be able to do a better ship giveaway for January than I anticipated. So again, shout out to Linuzillion. I know we play the referral game all the time, but I always wanted to make sure every time I get a referral that it helps out the community and not just the channel. That's kind of a long way. It took me a long way to figure out how to do this referral thing, and that's the way I figured out how to do it. There was once upon a time, I tried to get 15 referrals in one video or so. It was crazy. But that was when I knew less, and now I know more. So now every time I get a referral, I try to make sure that translates into something that I can give the community. And I try to only actively, ask outwardly for a referral when it's going to provide something for the channel. And I can't give away referral ships, but what it allows me to do is like I can use that to replace one of the ships I already own, and then I can give away that other ship that I own. And if I can't do that, then I'll just purchase the ship outright and then give it away. Um, so either way, I'm paying for something, or I'll just give away a skin or something. It just, because I'm saving the money on the referral, that allows me to do something for everybody else, and that's really where that comes from. But let's get these questions going. I want to go through these questions. We only got 45 minutes. What's up, Raygun? What's up, Samortis? Loom says, what's up, non-left? Northern, L Smuggy, what's up? Flashpoint. The legendary Perseus giveaway. I don't know how legendary it'll be when it's all said and done, but I just know that there's not a very often in the Star Citizen community that somebody gives away a Perseus. So if you really want to help the channel, shout out everybody you know, and let them know that we're giving away a Perseus. It doesn't really diminish your chances, because your chances are already fairly slim, because you're picking from at least 8,000 people that are trying to win this ship. So, but at the same time, I want everybody to be aware that this Perseus giveaway is happening. But yeah. All right, what are these questions that we got? Misfortune, I already answered that one. I think that's first quarter 2025. Have I seen the Guardian leak? I have not, but I haven't seen the leak because I know there's pictures, but I have seen the information for the leak. So I haven't seen the pictures, but I've seen the information. And if that is true, then it looks like the Guardian is going to be is going to knock it out of this park. Yeah. So if it's happening the way that I think it is, I think it's going to be a really amazing ship. It's if close your ears if you don't want to hear the leaks and everything. I don't really talk about leaks, but the essentially we can kind of confirm it has an interior, and we can kind of confirm that it at least has 2 size 5 weapons. And just with those 2 things, we'll still have to get maneuverability and speed numbers and things like that. But just with those 2 things, it's already doing a lot better, because now you got people who own an Ares that are going to start rethinking things, because do I want 1 size 7 or 2 size 5s in a heavy fighter along with an interior? You got people who own what else? What else is going to be on the chopping block here? Let me look something up and see what else might be on the chopping block. The Ares for sure, but let's look up some fighters and see what might be on the chopping block for a few people. I know there's already some people that I've seen that said that their Ares is as good as gone. How much is the Ares? I forgot how much that thing is. Is it 250? Yeah. So at 250, the Ares, I think that's because it has an interior. I think this ship is going to be around 250. I'm hoping that they do that. If because it's an initial concept sale, I'm hoping that they do like 210, something like that, 200, 210, 220, something like that. Because if they do something like that, then that allows people, that's going to, get way more people to buy it. And I hope they have a upgrade, a warbond upgrade for it, because I think I need one in that range right now. So yeah, I'm hoping that there's a warbond upgrade for it too. I don't think I'll get one. I don't need one. It seems like it's going to be a really cool heavy fighter, but I have 2 heavy fighters I got 2 F8Cs, so I really don't need it. But the Ares Inferno and Ares Ion, I could see people melting those to get this. Now, I do think at some point the Ares Inferno and Ares Ion will live up to their name. For a little bit, they were super buffed and they were like the meta. and then that went down. But I do think they'll have a return to form at some point. But I think for now, you can expect a lot of Ares to get melted for the Guardian. What else? I think there will be some F7Cs that get melted for the Guardian. I think it'll be there'll be a lot of people upgrading their F7Cs. Now, F7A, I don't know. I don't think people will upgrade their F7A because I think people kind of fought a little hard to get that, so I don't know if that'll be upgraded. I know for a fact nobody's really upgrading their F8Cs because of all the trouble you got to go through to get that. But yeah, I do think it'll be. I think if you were in the market for an F8C Lightning, and you can't get one for whatever reason, or you just think it's too expensive, I think the Guardian is the answer to your prayers, essentially, because the Guardian is going to be better in the fact that it has an interior, and it truly is, I think, a heavy fighter, because I think the thing about the F8C Lightning is its guns don't really speak to heavy fighter. It's kind of half in. It's like a foot in and a foot out. And that's kind of the thing about it is it's a foot in and foot out of the heavy fighter space. Whereas if the Guardian really does end up with size 5s, I think it's fully in the realm of heavy fighter. Whereas the F8C, you can kind of say, well, it has a bunch of size 3s and a bunch of size 2s and like, yeah, it's got the bigger missiles, you know, it's got the, or it's not the bigger missiles, but it's got the size 4 racks, and it's got, you know, the what is it, 2 coolers, 2 shields, you know, I get that, it's very long range, I get all those things, but I just honestly, I think it's more of a medium fighter. It just has so many guns that it just makes people be like, oh, it's a heavy fighter. But I think it should be a little bit faster for what it is, because the firepower just isn't there. If it had size 4s, like if the F8C had 2 size 4s, 2 size 3s, and then 3 size 2s, I think it would be much deeper into the heavy fighter era. But I think the reason it doesn't have those is because the F8A is going to have the size 4s. And I think the F8A is going to end up with 4 size 4s and 3 size 3s or something like that. And I think that's where they're going. And that's why you don't see that on the base F8C. But we'll see what it ends up being. I think the Guardian's going to be a knockout, though, if I had to guess. And yeah, I think it'll be about $250. I'm hoping that the concept price is somewhere in the low 200s, like 210, 215, something like that. With the credit price being like, you know, 240 or something like that. And then when the price inevitably goes up, then I think it should be 250 at that point. Just based off what I know, though, we still have to get in game. I really hope it's not 300 or something like that. That would really, really suck. That would really make people question a lot of the recent decisions, and I just hope they don't do that. How often do you plan to take the Perseus out compared to other large ships? Probably fairly often. I think the Perseus is going to be my main fighting ship. I think it's the ship I'm going to take out when I'm like, okay, we're going to go do something related to combat. Like, you know, when Save Stanton comes out again, or the Xenothreat, or Theaters of War, whatever we end up getting in that realm, I think the Perseus is going to be my go-to ship. Unless I have a large crew, and then it'll probably be the Polaris. But I'm noticing that most of the time when I do play, it's about anywhere from 3 to 6 people. So if I have 3 people, it's probably going to be the Perseus. If I have 5 or 3 or 4 people, it'll be the Perseus, and then anything above that, it'll be the Polaris or something like that. Yeah, we got to see the price for it. I don't want to really give too much credence to how much it will be great until I see the price on it, but I know it's gonna sell like hotcakes because people have been talking about this thing for at least 8 9 months now. And yeah, I think you're really. Oh, I didn't finish my list. I was talking to. I had a list of ships that I think people are gonna buy or sell for it. So I talked about the Ares, but I think, and I talked about the F7C. Um, but I also think there's going to be some people that might sell some other things. I think that people who own a Saber might start looking a different way. But then again, if you're into the Saber for stealth, that's really kind of your only option there. There might be a few people who trade in their Scorpius. Now the Scorpius is it's a 2 person ship, so there might be some people who still want to keep that. But yeah, outside of that, the Vanguards, I can see the Vanguards losing some folks, especially people who own like the Hoplite or the Sentinel, or not the Sentinel, the Hoplite or the Warden. Maybe not people who own the Harbinger because the Harbinger is going to have a different kind of space that it's in. And the same thing with the Sentinel, which is more electronic warfare. But the Hoplite owners, the Warden owners, I can see both of them being like, this Guardian is really tempting. Yeah. What else we got? YouTube. Shout out to the dual streamers. Oh, I don't even think I changed the title for the video today. It is not day 5. It is day 6, and today is the 17th. Please make sure you like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Make sure if you have the opportunity to do so, you leave comments on both Twitch and YouTube so you qualify for our C8R on Twitch and our skin giveaway on YouTube. And again, like I said, shout out to the dual streamers. I see a few people dual streaming right now, so I really appreciate that. All right. Yep, a few people in the comments saying, they're going from Vanguard to Guardian. I see that. Absolutely. I can ride in somebody else's when my Kruger runs out of gas. Let's see. Oh, it's going from an MSR or C1 to one of those. I can see that. I do not think melting the F8C will be worth it because I don't think the Guardian and the F8C will be. I don't think that Guardian and F8C will be in the same weight class. The F8C, if you went through all the trouble of getting a gold ticket and purchasing one, if you got LTI on it, I don't think it's worth it. But if you don't have LTI on it, I could see maybe potentially doing it. To get an LTI Guardian, but I don't think LTI is worth that. I would say, what is the purpose of your F8C? Because if your F8C is your main fighter, I think it will be better as a main fighter. But the Guardian is fully in the category, it looks like to me, of heavy fighter, which means it won't be as versatile as the F8C as far as combat. But it does have the interior. So it depends on what your goals are, but I would lean towards not melting the F8C. Guardian fits in the Polaris. I would have expected that. I think the 890 jump, Polaris, and Odyssey hangers, well, so far, I think those 3 are about the same size. I would think that all heavy fighters will fit in those unless they create some crazy large heavy fighter. Yeah, the F8C I think kind of straddles the medium to heavy category. So yeah, I think that's where it is. I think that's where it sits. There's a lot of people who say that the F8C is a heavy fighter in name only. So yeah, I don't think it's a medium fighter though. I think it's like a medium heavy, like a heavy light. And that's where it sits. But I only think that, like I said before, because I think the F8A, they needed somewhere to go upward for the F8A. Yeah, I think the F8A is where you're going to get that size fours and size threes that kind of pushing it squarely into the heavy fighter realm. I would honestly like to see it with two size fives, three size fours, or two size fives, two size fours, and two size threes. I think that would be crazy. In-game cost 12 million for the Guardian. That sounds about right. We could see what that'll be though. Kinda. We can make a kind of an assumption here based on other ships around that price range. Let's see. The Vanguard Sentinel is 11 million in game, and that's a $275 ship. The what's the other one that I said? The Ares. That's a $250 ship, and it's only 5 million. So I don't know about 12 million. I would say probably closer to 10 million. I would say probably closer to 10 million if we're talking in-game prices. Yeah, I'd say it's probably going to be around 10 million. Alpha UEC, etc. Let's see. You think the Guardian will be between 250, 300? I'm hoping it's not. Maybe for its final price 250, but I hope anyway for its initial release that it's cheaper than that. Paladin will go up 100? Woo! It might. Maybe not 100. Maybe like 50. Maybe 100 by the time like the game goes live in 1.0 or something. Would I rather have a Scorpius or the Fat Fury? Ooh, that's a good one. For my fleet, I think the Scorpius would work better because it's so well incorporated into something like a Polaris. Like I could put two Scorpius inside of a Polaris and they both will fit. Whereas I don't know if I'll be able to do that with two Fat Furies. So having two Scorpius and a full crew on a Polaris, I think I would prefer that. But that's for my fleet. So you have to make those decisions based on your fleet. If your FHC only has 6 months insurance and you didn't fight super hard to get it, I could see why you would melt it. But I just think I think the chances to get the F8C will continue to be more and more limited. So I would not melt the F8C to get a ship that will be commonly available. I think rarity plays a factor in it as well. You don't have any fighters at the moment. Would the Guardian be right for you? Sally, is that Sailcat? Sailcat 662. Let me know what your reasons for the game are. Like, what are your primary purposes in the game? You don't have any fighters, so I'm assuming that combat isn't really that important to you. So, what are your top three goals in the game, and what are your top three, favorite things to do in the game? They should add a superiority fighter subcategory. I like that. All right. What do we got here on Twitch? Yeah, the thing about giveaways, man, sometimes you just got to put your name in. Every person that's ever won the lottery You know, they lost 100 times before they won. So it's one of those things. What did the I think the lottery commercials used to be like? Um, it's like, hey, you never know. That's what that was like the tagline for the lottery for the longest time. Yeah, I tend to try to avoid spoilers on the channel. I think I like to really experience it myself. But either way, the amount of talk that the Guardian has, I think it's really going to sell very well. But yeah, I hope it's not $300. The most it should sell for credit wise is 275. And the most it should sell for war bond wise should be 250. If it goes anywhere above that, I'm gonna have a lot of questions. Um, I think it'll be. I don't know if they'll overpower it for sale because it has two size fives. So the only overpowering I could see happening with it is if they, you know, if they make it like extremely fast and super maneuverable just to sell it. Um, that's where I would look at it. But I would warn everybody to understand that it is a heavy fighter with an interior. My guess is it will end up being less maneuverable when it's all said and done. It'll be less maneuverable than the F8C. It might be faster in a straight line, maybe, or maybe it'll just be way more defensive than the F8C. And that's where I think it'll end up. I think it'll be slow, maneuver. I think it'll because it has those things. I think it might it'll make the choice between slow and less maneuverable. So if it's slow, it'll be more maneuverable than the F8C. If it's less maneuverable than the F8C, then it'll be faster, or at least close to as fast as the F8C. But I think one thing is I think it'll be a defensive ship. I think it'll be kind of that heavily armored. Unless you hit it directly in that glass, I think it's going to be a more heavily armored, heavy fighter. Um, and my guess is more maneuverable, slower, and more defensive. Carrier-based escort. I think it'll be more escort because the whole thing about escorts, you don't really need a bed if you're an escort, or well, you mainly need a bed if you're an escort. I said that backwards. You mainly need beds if you're an escort. You don't need a bed on it if it's carrier based because your bed is on the carrier. So that's what the F8, the F7s, those are more meant to be the carrier ships, the ships that you land inside of something that go off and fight. Because your bed, you don't need the amenities on board. You just need this thing to be able to go out, do what it needs to do, and come back to base. Whereas something like the Guardian, you could just take off and escort a ship and then return to base, or go off and do whatever other missions and stuff you need to do. I also think this thing will be super long range. Do you think that the stealth module on the F7CS Hornet Ghost Mark II may have an additional dampening effect once the stealth mechanic is fully in game? I don't know. There's so little information about that. But right now, the F7CS, the Ghost Mark II is actually lacking in stealth capability because compared to the Saber Firebird, it is actually less stealthy. So that is something that I saw and I was like, oh, why is that? They're the same exact price, so it was a little weird to me that the Hornet or the Ghost Mark II is less stealthy. Tempted to melt your F8C for the Guardian. I don't think that's the right choice, but it's up to you. Yeah, the F8C, I think that's the problem with the F8C is the guns are just not big enough. It would have been better to have two size 4s, two size 3s, and two size 2s. I think that would have covered the full range. Um, but again, I think that the reason that is because the F8A is going to have the larger guns. When do I think the Arastra will come out, as it's going to share a lot of assets with the Polaris and Perseus? I think we're 2 years out from the Arastra. I would say I wouldn't expect it until 2020, end of 2026 to beginning of 2027. Shout out to the dual streamers. I see you. Got a few people in there. Thank you. Let's see. Would I rather have a Zeus MR or the Guardian? Well, right now, from what I know about the Guardian and what I need the ship for, I would probably take the Zeus MR because that's what I need. I have a heavy fighter already technically with the F8, and I have two of them. So for me, the Zeus MR fills a gap that I have that the Guardian does not. Do you need fighter escorts for your Perseus? Yes, because the Perseus will not be great at fighting fighters. It is the medium. It'll be great at shooting heavy fighters. It'll be great at shooting medium ships, and it'll be great at shooting large ships. Maybe a few subcapitals. Um, that's what I think the Perseus will be great for. Now that we know the Polaris had the size sixes, I think the Perseus might actually even be good at shooting capitals, but it's just not as tough as the Polaris. So you're gonna have to really fly that Perseus to make sure you stay out of the range of all the guns coming from like an Idris, or if you're fighting a Polaris, you're gonna have a hard time too there. Should I drop the Andromeda if I have a 600i? No, I think those are two completely different ships. The 600i is either a touring ship or an explorer. I'm assuming you have the 600i Explorer. The Andromeda is not even an exploration ship, it's a gunship. Um, if you have the 600i and you want something different than your Andromeda, ask yourself what your goal is. Because if I'm dropping the Andromeda, it's to get a different type of gunship. Like, the only way I'm dropping the Andromeda is if I'm getting something like the Paladin, because the Paladin is going to be another gunship, but I think a more dedicated to gunship type of things, right? Less crew than the Andromeda, but the Andromeda has a lot more missiles. So if you prefer missiles, you'd probably stick with the Andromeda. If you prefer the size 5 gun turret, that then I think you probably go with the Paladin. But just remember, the Andromeda comes with a P-52 Merlin as well. So you get a whole extra ship that comes with that, which expands its multi-role gameplay opportunities. We only got about 10 more minutes in the stream. This is supposed to be a very short stream because I do have to go play D&D. So I have like 10 more minutes. So get those questions in, and then we will be rating. Let's see. I got a few more. Some people are speculating that because the cooler on the Guardian seems excessive overcooled for its weapons, that it might support a stealth build. I don't know. With two size 5 weapons, it's gonna be kind of hard to be stealthy. But if I know anything about it, I wouldn't think that it would have a stealth build. What I think it'll have is maybe some very large shield generators, or it will have a very long range, and that would be more so why it has the coolers or something like that. Like it'll be faster in quantum or something like that. I don't think it'll be a stealth build, but there are rumors of another variant of the Guardian. So it's very possible that if there is this other variant of the Guardian, that they're going to share parts, and that's what the difference will be between the two. What's up, Yeti? Thank you for the subscription with Prime, Yeti. Much appreciation. If you didn't know, every person who has an Amazon Prime account, you get a free subscription. So I always appreciate it if you subscribe to our channel with that free subscription that you can use on Twitch. According to leaks, it'll be slightly more maneuverable than the F8C. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then I would assume that it's less. I would assume it's not as fast in a straight line as the F8C, and I would assume it is probably tougher than the F8C. Is there a rare Carrack? Yes. Technically, the Carrack Expedition with the C8X is rare, and there's a best in show skin, I think, that has like a different color front glass to it. What's up, Citizen Ninja? If there was a Starlancer Miz, I would get that. Technically, that's the Starlancer TAC, isn't it? What's up, Ubo? What's up, Panzer? Are there two variants, the base and the interceptor? Are you talking about the I think you're talking, if you're talking about the Guardian, the variant that is leaked, so close your ears if you don't want to hear that, is the Key, which I think is going to be a quantum dampener or quantum enforcement type of ship. I'm hoping that if that does exist, that one has a what is that thing called, the quantum snare, because we need another ship with a quantum snare. And I was actually hoping the Zeus MR would get a quantum snare, because we just need more ships with quantum snares. Don't get me wrong, I definitely like that the Mantis has a quantum snare and an interior, because I didn't know that the Mantis had an interior, a solid interior, until I reviewed it. So yeah, I just think we need more ships with quantum snares just to give people some options. All right, we only got 5 more minutes of the stream, so make sure you're putting those questions in. Make sure you put question in front of the question so that I can pull it out of the stream. Let's see what you got, YouTube. Shout out to the dual streamers. Let's see. Will we get a free skin for the Guardian as a Luminalia present? I don't think so, because I don't think they'll do skins for it until it releases, and they will want to sell those skins rather than give free skins right on the outset. Your number one is salvaging, mining, but you also want to help out a mining or salvaging fleet with a fighter escort. Okay, in that case, a heavy fighter is probably, like, when it comes to people that are going to attack mining and salvaging fleets, it's generally going to be somebody who's attempting to take whatever the ore is, or take whatever the RMC is from those ships and put it in their own ship. So they're probably going to bring a larger cargo carrying ship with them. So in that case, I do think if you are looking for a ship specifically to protect those two types, and even maybe a cargo ship, I do think a Guardian would be great for that. But what was your other comment there? I forgot what else you said there. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I think based on what you said, the Guardian might be up your alley, but we don't know enough about it to make that decision yet. Because the same way I could say that, I could say that it might be better for you to get, a Vanguard Harbinger. It might be better for you to get one of those. So until we see the stats on it, I can't really say for sure. But I do know that, with a Vanguard Harbinger, you have a seat for a second person. So if you wanted a second person, the option for a second person to come along with you, then I think the Vanguard Harbinger might be better. So I think it's a little too early to answer the question. I mean, it could even be a Hurricane. Hurricanes are super fun to fly, and I don't know, and that also allows for a second person. So I would weigh your options. I would look at the Hurricane, look at the Scorpius, look at the F8C, and then look at the Guardian. Check all of those, compare and contrast. I have reviews on all of them, except for the Guardian, of course, which will come as soon as that's released. But yeah, check those reviews out and do your comparison. But I do think if you do want to fill that slot for your team, it's very possible that would be a good deal for you. How do you sell drugs in the game? I think you might want to pop on our Discord for help with that. But effectively, there's places you have to go in the game, and you can only sell them in certain places and stuff like that. At a state, oh, there's 10. 10's telling you how to do it right there. If selling at a station, back room, you may be able to sell them from ship. If no questions terminal at a scrapyard, you have an elevator for them. So there you go. Yeah, if you're picking up the Fat Fury, let me know in the comments if you're picking it up. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Cellcat, for the subscription. And thank you for the gifted subs. Nice. What a great way to end the stream. And we're level 2 with the hype train. Thank you. Much appreciated. Man, this community every time. Every single time. I love it. All right, let me speed through these questions. Let's see. What's up, Damon Danielson? What do I think about the Galaxy or Arastra? I think the Arastra is the better ship, unless you need at least 2 of the Galaxy modules, and then I think the Galaxy is the better ship. There will be, let's see. Yes, fun to fly is very important. However, it's difficult to judge fun to fly because master modes is still going to be, changing in the near future. But I know right now the Hurricane is very fun to fly. I also have a lot of fun flying the F8C though, and that's not, I think it's like one of the least maneuverable ships in the game. Yeah, I think a lot of people should just pick up a CCU. If you're not sure, just pick up a CCU and sit on it until we get more information. At least wait till the Q&A before you make that final decision. Should you upgrade the Constellation Aquila to the Starlancer TAC? Ooh, you're upgrading a ship that is meant for exploration to a ship that is not necessarily meant for exploration, but it might be capable of it. Until we get the Starlancer TAC in game, I would hold off on that. I would say get yourself an upgrade to the Starlancer TAC, get yourself a CCU, and then wait until it's in game, and then ask the question again. What's up, Starfinder? The Guardian looks like a Federation robot ship. All right. I think that's pretty much all of the questions I got for now. Let's see who we're gonna raid. I think I got some people on here. Let's do Icostin. I don't think...
They're not by arms.
I don't think I've ever raided Icostin, and I like to meet new people, so... Sorry about the short stream, folks, but we have some D&D to play, so I have to get out of here. But I will be streaming tomorrow, so please come back tomorrow. And have a good night, everybody, and thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you, especially the double streamers. I did it. in the wrong place again. I did it in YouTube. Gotta love it. All right, let's raid. Let's raid iCoastin. Let's raid them. Let's raid. We're raiding. See you later, everybody.